So here is a word problem about trigonometry. So Stefan is standing on the ground by a mesa in the painted desert. Stefan is 1.8 meters tall and sights the top of the mesa at 29 degrees. Stefan steps back 100 meters and sights the top at 25 degrees. How tall is the mesa? So here we see a right angle triangle. Let's just assume that this is a right angle triangle since this is about trigonometry. So it's definitely going to be a right angle triangle. And it says how tall is the mesa, and we see that this is the mesa here. So we're trying to find what x is. Now notice that there's also a y here, so there's an unknown here. So that's why this makes this word problem really tricky because we don't know what y is. If we know what y is, let's say y is 3, we can definitely quickly solve for x. I could just write tan 29 degrees is equal to x over 3 because of SOHCAHTOA. Remember that O represents opposite, H represents hypotenuse, and A represents adjacent. And so here saw means opposite over hypotenuse. And because we're using tan, it's going to be opposite over adjacent. So we have opposite, which is x, over adjacent which is 3. But currently right now we don't know what y is, so I'm just going to write it as y. Now notice that there's also another triangle. There's a big triangle here. And so now I want to write an equation of the triangle in order to find x. So I'm going to do tan, this time it's not going to be tan 29 degrees, it's going to be tan 25 degrees is equal to, again, x over, this time is not y, instead it is 100 plus y. And so how do we solve for x? Because we have an unknown variable. We have two unknowns variable. So how are we going to solve for x? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use substitution in order to find x. So here I am going to I am going to substitute x here. So here I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this into tan 29 degrees times y is equal to x. And so I'm going to substitute this to this so that we know that there are no more x, instead there's just y's. So this is going to be equal to tan 29 degrees times y. I'm sorry, this is a little messy. But yes, so now we can solve for y. And after solving for y, we can substitute the number for y, and then we can solve for x. And so now we have substitute this, and so we can just find y. We can just focus on y. And so I am going to use the cross multiplication method. So tan 25 degrees times 100 plus y is equal to tan 29 degrees times y. And so I am going to use my calculator for this. And first of all, I'm going to expand this. So tan 25 degrees times 100 is approximately 64.6 plus tan 25 degrees times y. Now, I don't know what y is, so I'm just going to write tan 25y. But instead of writing tan 25y, I'm just going to write tan 25 on my calculator. And so I get 0. Around 5 y is equal to tan 29. Actually, I'm not going to use tan. I'm just going to write the decimal for this. So I'm going to just type this in my calculator, and let me type that. And so tan 29 on my calculator, it says 0.5, around 55 times y. So it's just that. Actually, I'm not going to write this as 0.5. On my calculator, it actually says 0.466308. So I'm just going to write 0.47. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, and now I'm going to leave the 46.6 here, and I'm going to subtract the other variable. So you'll notice that from this, I went to this side, I'm subtracting it. And so if I put this on my calculator, so also just note, because on the calculator, this is just a rounded number, it's not the actual number on my calculator. So in order for accuracy, you want to put the actual number on your calculator instead of just putting this number because it's not accurate enough. So I'm just gonna do this minus this, and on my calculator it says 0.088 is equal to, oh, y is equal to 46.6. Yeah, there's a lot of steps. Please be patient. Thank you. So 46.6 divided by 0.088 is equal to y. Again, I want to input the actual number for accuracy. And when I divide this, I get, let's see, I get 529.887 approximately. And so now I solved for y, but I'm not done yet because my goal is to solve for x and not y. And so now I'm going to substitute this for y. And so let's say I use you can either use the big triangle or the small triangle. I'll personally use the smaller triangle because that's faster. And so here I have tan 29 is equal to x over y. And so I'm going to write I'm going to write this again. Tan 29 degrees is equal to, I don't know what x is, but I know what y is. Y is 529.887. And so, in order to solve for x, again, I use the cross multiplication method. So tan 29 degrees times 529.887. Again, I want to put the exact number on my calculator for accuracy. And so that on my calculator, it says 293.7. That's like approximately. Yeah. So I'm not going to write this. Instead, I'm going to write this. So because this means approximately. And so yes, this is how I find x.